Okay, we're back. Now we have been introduced to resources before at the resource tab, which I have eliminated. What I did was is I hit here clear all, this button here. If I wanted to show them all, I'd hit select all. But I have a suspicion that that was part of what was hanging me up in my video, so I cleared them. The listing that you will have in your resources tab is going to go by what you have installed. Okay? I think it should go by what you have installed. The same thing is going to be for the grammars. I deselected everything to try and see if that was causing a keystroke hang up. Okay? So this was the first time we saw resources, was here. And you can select them or clear them. And I suggest that if you're having problems with the speed of BibleWorks, that you deselect them. Okay, because we saw how busy, when you select them, all right, and you're back at the lexicons and you select them, then when you get the summary, which you get by going somewhere, unless I have my update. Yeah, see, this to me is totally useless. I mean, it's like too much text. It's too big. Of course, it's big because I make my text big. But I mean, I do better just by using the analysis window and putting my, mouse on a word. And I get the morphology and everything else I could ever possibly want. So this resource tab for me is not useful. All right, so I clear it all, just so you get, repetition is always a good thing. And then these are references, and I've cleared all of them too. And then I've cleared the options. Okay, but this isn't the only place where your resources are shown. And clearing them here doesn't do anything except save you what I would consider wear and tear. Okay? You have your resources tab right here. And it's better organized so you know what it is you have. And we're going to go through that in a minute, but I want to finish with the tabs down here. Analysis, that's basically your lexicons, and we've gone through that in enough detail, and it's pretty much the same as in my BibleWorks videos, all right, on version 5. Okay, they just call it analysis now instead of auto info. Okay, I don't know why they call it that, but they do. Okay. So resources I've blanked out. So then we've seen the notes. We've seen the editor. Cross-refs we've gone through, and you've got more than just treasury of scripture knowledge. You've got all these other different kinds, okay, of cross-references. This is like a concordance, a super concordance. It does not operate as well as it did in BibleWorks 5, so I will not be using it except to see what the other references are. But I'll never be making videos using BibleWorks 8. It's just too complicated. It's causing too much trouble. And without this particular function being the way it is in BibleWorks 5, I can't make videos using this version. I just can't. Then you have something called stats. And this basically says that you have to do a search, and then it'll give you stats. So if I do a search for that phrase, hopefully there won't be many, searching all same language versions, and I'm just hoping that the machine isn't going to crash in the interim. The thing that's bad about this is that it's searching all the versions that are installed on your machine, irrespective of whether they're in the display, even though I've specified in the options not to do that. It's doing that. All right. So you see, each Bible has one hit in it. Okay. It's totally useless, that extra window. I don't care about which version has the information. I just want to know where it appears. All right. So now, of course, what I've done is I've taken up a tab. We're going to be covering tabs in a later episode. And so now I have to go here in order to clear the tab before it. I can't be on the tab that needs the clearing. I have to be on a different tab. And then I have to clear the command line. Because when you have all these tabs, they store. And that's all fine and dandy, but it can eat up your RAM. Okay, so that's what you can do with the search. Now when I did that search, this were the statistics. Is this useless or what? 1 out of 1,533. So that's not telling me any useful information. Occasionally this kind of information is useful when you're tracking keywords, really important keywords, because then you can see how they're used. But the stats themselves by themselves don't tell you anything useful. You have to see how they're used to know anything useful. Then you have this useless thing that is like, if I were to click on this word drinking, I would get 21 verses with the word drinking in it in English. Don't ever click on the word the. As you can see, there's 64,000 times the word the is used in English translations. Alright? These are all words that are in the verse that you could search on these words individually. Why you'd want to do it that way, I have no idea, because you can just go here and just highlight the word and then double click on it. Okay? So to me this is a wasted tab. Just like stats is generally a wasted tab. Then you have one called context, which isn't much better. Because what context is there? And, the, of, my, I, to? Huh? Who needs this? Okay? And the trouble is that you have to scroll. You don't dare touch any of the words because it'll automatically do a search. And they're not even in any sensible order. Well, they're ordered by frequency. See, and is at the top. Alright? And ye is at the bottom. Whoopee! What kind of useful information is that? Again, you could just highlight what you want to search and click on it and be done. You don't need this context window. There's no context really being explained here. So this is useless. This is useless. This is only occasionally useful when you're looking up an important keyword. This is your version info. Like, we're on the KJV, so it's telling you about the copyrights, and that's important stuff because that tells you how and in what way you can use the information in public. Okay? The alternative, this is sort of useful if you've got a multi-version window here, but your search version is in one language and you just want to sort of read it below. You can do that without having to click on the feet up here. To me, I'm used to clicking on the feet, so this isn't a terrifically valuable thing, but it's got some value. Okay. Then this is to synchronize with the Browse tab. So whatever you're reading down here, you want the Browse tab to agree, and that's kind of useful. So like, let's say I'm reading down here and I'm at Sarah. I click on the Synchronize, and now it was supposed to synchronize in the top window and it didn't do that. Ding! That's another bug that maybe they worked out in a later version. Okay, but not my version. Okay, so that's what it's supposed to do, but it didn't do that. Okay, so that's the extent of your resources here. Now we're going to cover in the next increment what all this is, because this is all kind of really important, and it goes back to your flashcards. This is where your flashcards were. Okay, but we'll cover that in the next increment. Back again. Alright, we're going to start here with this somewhat simpler. No, should I start here or here? Let's start here because it's using words that you probably recognize more easily. These are tools for analyzing the text. Frankly, I never use these things. I use the word list manager and the verse list manager as I've shown you in previous videos. Related verses tool, phrase matching tool, and this is a sophisticated database with KWIC. Alright, I have never needed to get to use tools like this. When I see something, see the text, I know what I want to search on, I just search on it. I don't, if you want to use that, that's fine. Let me know how you like it, because sometimes in scholarship, especially in Bible, we make things more complicated than they have to be. I mean, 5-year-old kids learned Hebrew and Greek, so it's not hard. It's because we didn't learn it as kids that we find it hard now. So this is like more complicated than it needs to be, especially if you're using 1 John 1:9. God will show you what the related verses are. And he'll call to your mind. It's John 14:26. He does it to me right in the middle of videos. It's really disconcerting sometimes. He'll let you know what phrases are related. It's not like you shouldn't use these tools, but they're very complicated to use. There's a steep learning curve with each one of these three things. And, you know, more power to you if you want to use them. But asking God to tell you where to look is faster. Viewing the text. Parallel versions window, we saw that already. Okay? The synopsis window we saw already. Parallel versions window, that's if you want to create another one, which we had already done. That's the same thing. That's the same thing as this thing right here. And we've created a parallel version. Okay, if you want to create more, well, then you can create another one, which is what we just saw. Alright, so viewing the text in parallel synopsis, the synoptic tool is right here. Okay, and it's going to start at Matthew 1:1 because I'm not already in the New Testament Gospels. If you were at a Gospel passage and you clicked on that, I might as well go there and show you. Because that's what makes this thing so cool. Let's say that I was in Mark, and let's say that I was in Mark, 5. Alright, and now I click the synoptic tool. It's going to be keyed to Mark 5. See? So the passages that relate to Mark are on either side. Okay, and when I'm doing the synoptics videos, which I haven't been posting them lately, I'm going to be posting episode 19 sometime this weekend. This is what I use in order to do those videos, because it's just easier. Plus, you've got this wonderful little, let me see if I can do it. Oh, please don't die on me yet. Okay, this is that same outline, and as you can see, unfortunately you can't scroll on it with your mouse wheel. You have to use this stupid scroll bar. But as you can see, they've plotted out the events in the Gospels so that you can more easily navigate between the events. You know, all the stupid things that people say about how the Gospels disagree, and it's because they don't read it, alright? Or when they say that Matthew is not the first Gospel, that Mark is the first Gospel. Any scholar who says that Mark is Q or believes in a Q Gospel, that guy should just be handed his, you know, retirement money and shuffled off into a pasture. His brain is no longer working. Okay, it's very simple to prove that Mark is the third Gospel. I've already done it 18 times in the synoptics videos, not to mention the Mark series. Mark's wrapping his gospel around Matthew and wrapping it around Luke. It's a rhetorical style. It's like when you have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Chapter 3 brings forward the threads in chapters 1 and 2. The whole Bible is written that way. Exodus wraps around Genesis, Deuteronomy wraps around Exodus, Numbers, blah, 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 blah. They all wrap around because they're building a book called the Bible, and they wrap to the previous material so you know how to interpret the new material. That's exactly the way the New Testament's written too. Did anybody figure that out yet? No. But you can when you look at this stuff. Okay? Alright, I'm still recording. Alright, so that's the synoptics tool. Alright. That's viewing the text. Then you can do what are called text comparison settings. And again, I make it more complicated than it needs to be. You can color one Bible version with a certain color of text and a certain background. State the version there, and you're going to have to use these little abbreviations here. Okay? So you put the abbreviation there, and you pick your colors, and you click enable, and you do another one, and then it's going to do a coloring for you. Now, Accent vowel sensitive is relevant to Greek and Hebrew. Ignore movable new is relevant to Greek. Cross-compare all versions. Well, that's why you're doing it. So obviously you don't want that checked. Word occurrence method or LCS method. I have no idea what's the difference between the two because I would never do it this way. Okay? I just wouldn't. I don't know why anybody would try. You got the original and at least one translation. Yeah, you might look at 2 or 3 other translations. But what you care about is the original. The other translations are there to act like study buddies in case you're screwing up in your own head about what a word means. Alright? But, hey, you want to color? Color away. Alright? So viewing the text, you got text comparison settings. Apply colors to selected text. We saw that. Apply colors to search results. Choose Targum variant colors. This, unfortunately, is important. If you do not choose these colors, even if you never use them, something goes wrong. We had a discussion about that in the Bible Works forum. So, if you're ever going to learn Aramaic, then set up your Targum variant colors right away. Okay, and that's what I did here. I have no idea which is 1, which is 2, which is 3, which is 4, which is 5, but I set them up. Okay, and they actually do show up. I have no idea why that's important, but they do show. See? I'm not sure it's going to show in the Peshitta. The Peshitta, my morphology versions won't show. But it sure shows in the Old Testament. Let's do Isaiah. I feel like I'm courting death here. Because so far I've been doing this for gotta be 15-20 minutes. Okay, oh, I didn't search on anything, so that's why it's not showing. Well, first of all, I picked a bad verse. Apparently Isaiah isn't much tested. Let's pick Ezekiel. By the way, there you go. See the color, the different colors? Because that's saying, hi, this is different from another version. Alright? See? It's showing the colors. Oh, that's going to be real fun to read. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the rest of them, they don't have much in the way of colors. But it does show. It doesn't make an impact. What impact, I'm not sure, but it does matter. So let's go back to Mark. And am I still okay? Am I... Oh, golly, it's still recording. I wonder what happened. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay, and analyzing the text we talked about. Viewing the text we talked about. Importing and exporting information, we talked about that in the option flags. And what we didn't talk about is that you can create, well, we talked about it a little bit, you can create your own Bible. And when it says version database compiler, that's part of how you make your own Bible. I've not learned how to do it. If I want to make my own Bible, I'll just paste the text and do it the old-fashioned way. But the important thing here is that you can actually index to the Greek and Hebrew using this. In other words, you can build your own version in here and you can index it and it'll, you know, track the morphology and everything just as if it was the NASB. In other words, you can build it so that the analysis window will track. Let's pretend that this was actually your translation instead of the NASB, so that you can have the mouse show up on each word keyed to Strong's, I guess, or keyed to something, and that database version compiler is part of it somehow. Okay. Module index also, and I'm not sure how. And you know, they're really sophisticated people using this, and I'm sure that they need it because you know, this is a waste of time to have created and gone to all the trouble to create it if people weren't using it. Then you got interface and setting, the Bible Works keyboard, which you've already seen, you could access already. But unfortunately, in the Bible Works 5, you could just hold down the shift key and see the shift. Oh, it's working. Okay, then for sure we know it's a bug. This is important. Okay, look what happened. This button, let's close it first. When I do it here, where is it? Oh, I got rid of it because I was so frustrated. Flashcard, here we go. When I do it here, and I hit the shift key, it's working. I'll be damned. I don't know why it's working, but it's working. This is what it's supposed to do. So like, look, Hebrew, there's the Hebrew, you hold down the shift key, and it's working. Okay? Same thing for Greek. Now what's really important about this is that you don't have to know Hebrew and Greek to search on Hebrew and Greek. For example, you can put your cursor in the command line and just hit the key. Actually, what you first have to do is you have to hit a period, put a period in there, and then you can just type the letters that you want. It's not doing it right. Why isn't it doing it right? They're supposed to show up as Greek letters. I don't know why that's not, now that's not working. The shift key is suddenly working. Oh, no, the shift is not there. Yeah. Okay, but now it's not typing in Greek. Why is that? Okay, that's another different bug. So I got my shift key working, but I can't type the Greek letters. That's great. It's not typing the right letter. Alright, well, I'll have to figure that out in a future episode. I'm getting so nervous this thing's going to turn off. I'm going to cut off right now, and I'll come back in the next increment. I was so unnerved by the fact that it's working that I forgot the fundamental thing I've always known. Alright, as you can see, when you hold down your shift key, you see capitals. You see what the letters are, but that's not all. First thing you got to do, in order to search in Greek, even if you don't know Greek, alright, is you first got to make a Greek version that you on display, your search version like that. Okay, that was a right click, that's what brought up the little dialog box, and then it's make the search version. Then you type in preferably a period. Okay, you can type in an apostrophe, but that's for a string. This is for one word at a time, an either or search, which is gives you much better results. Now watch. Let's say I wanted to type in the word theos, meaning God. Okay, I'm clicking. Let me show you. Do it again. I'm clicking on the spelling of that. Now that's nominative case. You notice how it automatically did the terminal S instead of the S that's showing here? Alright, except that I spelled it wrong. That should be an Omicron. Where is it? Right there. There we go. Theos. Now, I'm not going to search on that because there's like a bazillion times that it appears. But you see, that's how you can do a search by typing Greek, or the same thing, of course, would be true for Hebrew, in your command line. Alright? Now, you don't have to do it that way. You can ignore the keyboard altogether. You've already made this, you right click and you made this your search version. Alright, because you've already done that, of course you have to know that you're typing the right letters in the keyboard. You can just type, you know, the right words. Okay, I just typed it from the keyboard, my keyboard, not from theirs. And you see me do that in BibleWorks videos a lot. Alright? Because I'm used to it. Alright? But you're not used to it. So this is how you can get used to it. And after you've done it, 50 or 60 times. So you click on this little puppy here is the keyboard. It's still recording. And for some reason the shift key is now working. Oh no, tell me it's working. Okay, it's working. You depress the shift key so you can see what the capital letters are, and there are extra diacritical marks here that you may need to know. And then of course you can switch and do it for Hebrew. And then when you're done, you can go back to English. But the thing is that you don't, once you get used to this, you won't have to use it. All you do is you're going to right click and make the search version. And then you'll remember what the letters are to type. Okay? In fact, I prefer the BibleWorks keyboard to any other keyboard. But anyway, at least that was something important to show. Okay. Now, so we've handled language tools. We've handled import, export, build module, language tools, flashcard. This is that thing, it's like diagramming sentences in school where you want to diagram the Greek or Hebrew sentence. If you want to do that, more power to you. I am not going to introduce it because I don't see any particular value in it. Okay, in the first place, it slows you down. You're spending more time on analyzing where something is in the sentence than you are on learning what it means. And that tends to be a really big problem with people, is they get so bollocksed up with the parts of speech and stuff, they're missing the forest for the trees. Okay, there are times when you're going to want to do that because there are a lot of nested clauses in Hebrew and Greek verses in the Bible. A lot of nesting. If you watch my Ephesians 1:3-14 videos in the 11 GGS series, Paul nests every single clause to meter. But the diagramming didn't help me know that. Okay? So, if that helps you, God bless. That's all I can say. I'm all for simplicity when you can have it. And if that makes your life simpler or easier to understand, then go to it. But if you're doing it because it makes you feel smart, honey, you won't learn anything. You do anything because it makes you feel smart or some smart person does it, you'll never learn anything. Do it based on its intrinsic value. Forget who does it. If a drunk did it and it had intrinsic value, then you should do it. And who cares if a drunk does it too? Alright? Interface setting, the keyboard we just handled. Keyboard layouts we already talked about. Edit Greek alias list. That's too complicated. If you really need to do this, let me know and I'll try to figure out how it works and tell you. Okay, and then this is back to our options, which is how we started this series. Okay, so that's enough for the tools section of the resources that you have. And we'll come back in the next increment to cover what this tab says.